make up those days. And joining us now, Prince George's County Interim Superintendent Sean Joseph. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So we did have a unique snow and ice storm last month, and we're still feeling the ripple effects. Prince George's builds into their calendar 5 days for weather-related closures, but students were out longer than that. So how did the district decide where to tack on these extra days?
Yeah, well, recovering from a historic event like the one we had requires some difficult trade-offs, and losing 8 full days of instruction put us in a position where we have to balance state law with the practical needs of our families. So, to meet the state requirements for instructional time, we've adjusted this year's school calendar using all 5 days that were built into our calendar, March 20th, May 27th, June 15th through 17th, and the board's approved adding June 18th as an additional day. We're also exploring April 6th and other opportunities to ensure we meet the state-mandated 180-day requirement while minimizing.
Okay, we apologize. We lost connection to the superintendent.
Oh.
Okay, I can hear you now. I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
Continue.
No problem. Yeah, and so looking ahead, we plan to minimize learning disruptions in the event of extreme winter weather in the future. So the board recently approved a virtual instruction plan for inclement weather. So in the future, we'll pivot to high quality virtual learning. And this will allow us to keep the rhythm of the school year intact regardless of weather. But for now, we remain in close contact with the state regarding potential waivers. But our priority is just finishing the school year strong and communicating every change to our parents as quickly as possible.
Okay, just want to make sure I heard you clearly there. Is that next time you'll consider virtual learning to prevent any learning disruptions?
Correct.
Okay. All right, let's talk now about the district's immersion programs. Close to 1,600 parents and educators, I checked just before this newscast, and members of the community, they signed on to this petition asking the district not to cut these programs. They say it's wildly successful. What specific criteria were used to determine that this program should be cut over others?
Well, I think it's important to start to say that in Prince George's County, we still have immersion programs. So that's important for families in that community to know. There were 2 programs that we had that were impacted, and it was one of the toughest parts of the budget that we had to deal with this year. The recommended transition from boundary-based immersion programs is one that we approach with empathy because we know how much families value these programs. However, in a season of fiscal constraint, we need to look at the big picture. And right now, these programs serve a limited number of students while requiring much higher staffing levels. So tonight we'll have another budget hearing. The board did ask us to present an option B, so we'll present option B tonight. But we're confident that we'll work with the community and families to come to some resolution on this as we move the budget forward and work to address the $150 million realignment we had to make.
Yeah, so let's talk big picture. How does eliminating this program meaningfully reduce a $150 million budget gap? I mean, what percentage of the deficit does this actually address?
Well, those programs in particular were about a $1.8 million budget line item. So that's pretty significant for 2 schools. But again, I'm confident we will work with the community and resolve the situation. Again, the way Maryland funds schools now, there really isn't funding for specialty programs. But having said that, we value our programs. We have a dozen immersion programs within the district, and we'll continue with immersion across the district. But we had to look at these individual unique situations that just required more staffing than any other school.
All right, Superintendent Sean Joseph, thank you so much. We'll be following up and monitoring that meeting this evening to hear what your plan B is. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me once again.
All right, take care. Coming up here on